Welcome to episode 50 of OVW Fan Zone, where fans talk back. I am not Jerkman Ox. I am Victor Anderson.
And I'm Brian Hines. With us, as always, is the disembodied voice of our producer, Tiny Brian.
Hey, folks. I'm
muted. Hello.
There you are. So jump on into our OVW TV YouTube chat room. Tiny is always in the chat room as OVW Podcast and looking for your questions and comments. Make sure you tag at OVW Podcast in the chat with your questions and comments.
Looks like we've got some new folks in here this evening.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We also have some...
Blast Braden Field specifically. I don't remember him, but he says he's the number one OVW fan.
That's a new one.
Wow, congratulations. We also have Roy. Good to see you again, Roy, as always. Willie Bowen, who's here quite a bit. Ronald as well. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. A little bit different tonight. Jackman is still on vacation. He is living it up down in Nolans.
Nolans, yep. On Bourbon Street.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Hope Jerkman has a good time.
Father, when have you been to New Orleans?
I've been there once.
I have not, but I've been to Bourbon and Toulouse probably about 6 times this month.
That almost counts.
That almost.
That doesn't count, though.
You weren't 21 when you were in New Orleans either, right, Victor?
Not. No,
yeah, so it doesn't count either.
That was a high school trip, and hey, you know what? I had a good time, and I was about 2 months before turning 18 when I was there. So
I would love to go one day. I just haven't.
And 18 was the drinking age down there. So oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know that's that.
Yeah, that's where we are tonight. So we're going to carry on without him in his absence, because as you know, the show must go on. And so, you haven't been on the Fan Zone, really, have you? Have you been once?
I don't think I've been on here since Labor Daddy Doug was on here last.
Yeah, since Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
last
forgot
time
about
I was here
that.
was Thanksgiving dinner, which was a great show.
Yeah. So
go back and watch that if you've not seen it. That's a hilarious hour.
So you know how to get to the front of the line, right?
How's that?
If you're in the chat and you want Brian to interrupt us.
Oh yeah, you put in a super chat.
A super chat is the way to go.
Yeah.
And I will just be rude AF and just talk right over them.
I mean, to
on
be fair,
purpose.
That happens some anyway. But
I do that accidentally, but I will do it on purpose for money.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Matthew's here as well. Hey, Becky.
Becky's rolled in. Hello.
Glad to see you guys. It has been an interesting week for us.
It's been a great week. You know, finally the weather's straightened up, except for the little bit of rain.
All of the rain.
Yeah.
I just got back into town from Pikeville, and I was afraid that it was going to be a rough way to go. And there was not one drop of rain outside. Once I got outside of Lexington,
yeah,
smooth sailing all the way.
So is the Mountain Parkway
a lot more 70-mile-an-hour zones.
I know that everybody that listens to this is not from the mountains, but I cannot wait until the day that I get on the 4-lane, as we call it back home.
Yeah.
In Winchester there and drive it all the way to Prestonsburg. I cannot wait for that.
We're close. We're making progress.
They are getting so close.
I know, it's pretty great.
Yeah. But if you have anything you want Brian to interrupt us to let us know, a super chat is the way to go. Hey, look at that. That rhymes.
There you go.
And in the meantime, if you've got questions, comments, concerns, complaints, whatever you got, put them there in the chat room. I'm going to cut them out, paste them in my little document later on in the show. We will be taking your questions and comments, and we'll be talking about them and answering them and responding to them, whatever needs done.
Before it gets a little late, why don't you give us the tour dates?
Oh, you want me to do the tour dates?
Yeah, see what I did there.
Brian's in a rhyming mood.
All right,
tonight.
I'll go with it.
I don't play.
Here.
My name's B. Hines, and I don't play.
He don't play. So this Thursday night on, I think that is May.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yes.
May 1st.
May 1st.
May Day.
Even though that's not what that says here.
Oops.
OVW Double Cross will take place at the Great Lawn by the Ohio River in Louisville as part of Kentucky Derby celebration.
That's a beautiful venue.
I love it.
I love seeing the Ohio River and the skyline in the background.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to go. And the best part is it costs nothing.
You know, you need is what, Brian?
Your Pegasus pen gets you in.
Get you in.
Do we still have the one on the wall from last year?
It might be up there underneath the new curtains. I'm not certain.
Okay.
So next up after that is the OVW Shamrock Slam at St. Martha's Parish in Louisville, Kentucky, Friday, May the 16th.
And let's stop right here. And we have a little ad this week, so let's talk about that.
All right. Go for it, Brian.
Once again, we are partnering up with Perfect Pitch. Perfect Pitch will be there at the St. Martha Parish event. And if you haven't been to an OVW show that has, it's almost like an enhanced experience. It's more of a fan-friendly experience. I feel like there's a little bit more fun in the air.
One thing about the non-televised events with OVW is that they are really geared towards the fans.
Yes.
And especially the kids. Man, the way they interact with the kids is next to none.
And Jason really adds a heavy element to that. He will have a photo booth where you can get your picture taken, just you and your friends. You could have your picture taken with your favorite OVW superstars, and he will print it on site. And as Victor just showed you, he will have a refrigerator magnet. As a matter of fact, I have that picture in that magnet on my mini fridge in my apartment as we speak.
I pulled it off my desk in the other room to bring it in here to show off
And these
tonight.
are pretty great to put on your refrigerator door.
Yes. So make sure you stop by and see him, say hi, get your picture taken, and enjoy the Shamrock Slam at St. Martha Parish.
So after that will be OVW Rumble at the Raceway Series at Ponderosa Speedway in Junction City, Kentucky. And those dates are Saturday, May the 15th, June the 21st, and July the 19th. That's going to have to be a pretty great event.
I feel like that would be a great platform for a best-of-3 series between
Someone.
whoever. Someone,
yeah.
yes.
And those are all on Saturdays. I don't know if,
Those
just
are
to be
all
clear.
on Saturdays.
Most racing things are Sunday, 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 but not these.
So next after that is the OVW Saturday Night Special at Hot Point Davis Arena, June 14th. There's an all-free, all-ages show at Element Eatery in Cincinnati, Ohio, June 28th. And as I said earlier, I guess they didn't know I said it earlier until they hear the
They will
podcast.
after this
Yeah,
episode.
so one of our favorite events is here in Lexington at the Manchester Music Hall on July the 5th. And then finally, OVW Independence Rage at Hot Point Davis Arena, July the 26th, 2025.
Where
All
can you
right.
get tickets for all of these?
Oh,
Victor?
yeah, you can get tickets for all these events at OVWTIX.com.
That's right. And
And when you do take your pictures of these events, make sure you put them in the fan zone. Go on Facebook, join the fan zone, put your pictures there. We want to see them.
as a matter of fact, we do have pictures from Appalachian Wireless, the Appalachian Armageddon show, and they are in my Facebook Messenger, and I forgot to get them to you because I had some things very, very last minute come up, and I had to leave. But I'll get those to you, and we'll post them in the fan zone, and maybe we'll be able to get them into clips that we can share with you later on. But thank you very much, Ryan, for providing us with those, and we will get those out.
All right, so we're ready
Absolutely.
for our first ad break? Is that what this says here?
Yeah, I think
All right.
we're ready to go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we are going to be back in just a minute. I'm Brian,
And I'm Victor.
and you're watching the OVW Fan Zone, where fans talk back.
Hi, everybody. Former WWE superstar Al Snow here at the Appalachian Wireless Arena right in Pikeville, Kentucky. We're coming back. OVW is coming on April 25th. And because we know the hardships and the struggles of the people here in Pikeville, Kentucky, we're going to donate a portion of the proceeds to the flood relief efforts here in Pikeville, Kentucky and the surrounding area. So come out, support those efforts, support OVW, have a great time because we're going to make you forget your problems.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, Thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Have you seen how cool this shirt is?
I see that.
You know, we have a whole TeePublic shop that sells these.
I did not know that, no.
We do, yes. And we have links in all of our social media about it. You can get this or you can get the unofficial.
You can get this or you can get that.
That is absolutely true.
This is Wes Martin. We're in the OVW Fan Zone. Please join.
Dream a reality and attend the world-famous Harvard of Pro Wrestling. The OVW Academy with Al Snow, the birthplace of legends including Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, and many more. Will you be the next name added to that impressive list? Visit OVWacademy.com and apply now.
Hey, it's me, Cal Hero, and I am at the OVW Fan Zone. Come on, come hang out.
What's poppin'? It's the Blue Shadow, it's Daddy Ron, Hollywood Harry J, and I am in the OVW Fan Zone.
Oh, we're
Welcome back to the OVW Fan Zone, where fans talk back. My name is Brian Hines.
on. And I am not Jerkman.
Well, tell them who you are in case they're just
Oh,
joining
yeah,
us.
I'm Victor, by the way.
Well, duh.
You shouldn't define yourself by what you're not. Define yourself by what you are.
Well, you know, they're expecting to see a interesting, different character on here, and that is not me.
All right, let's get into our the meat of the show here with the OVW predictions. So predictions, it goes on so long.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I think it's hilarious.
Let's
Yeah,
start
I
with a
agree.
recap with a review of OVW TV 1340. Let's see. We had Freya the Slayer. No, we had
we didn't.
Freya the Slayer versus the Marionette Nicole or Noelle, and
Did not appear
that
on
did
Raw.
not happen.
I
Nope.
did not.
So neither did Rachel Lay versus Leela Feist. Neither did a lot of this didn't happen.
No.
All right.
Not on Rise, anyway.
Nope, not on Rise. We didn't see it here. May have happened elsewhere. Star Rider versus JJ Lawson. Both
did
of
see
you,
that one.
yeah, both of you wisely predicted that Star Rider would come out victorious there.
Yeah, we pretty well knew that was coming. Unfortunately for Mr. Lawson.
And then we had Loud and Lawless versus the Trifecta, and you unfortunately came out on the short end of that one, right? Because the Loud and Lawless won that bout, right?
No.
No,
The
oh,
trifecta won
no.
that.
I'm sorry, I may be having a coronary. So you get another point there. You win that one.
Damn right I do.
So Jerkman got that one wrong?
He did indeed get that
Good.
one wrong.
Good job.
And then the National Heavyweight Championship match, Jackman incorrectly predicted the Doug Basham win. Brian, take your flowers, take your bow. You correctly predicted Eric Surge is your new OVW National Heavyweight Champion.
That is correct. Congratulations,
Yeah,
champ.
good job, champ.
Yes.
That was a surprise win on my part, so I was really happy to see that.
Not me, man. Hindsight's 20/20, baby.
You know, that's what they say.
That's certainly what Brian says. All right, let's move into what we have for tomorrow, which is Double Cross.
Oh, boy.
Back at the Riverside for the second time in a week. Very exciting. And here's the thing, guys. For this bout, it appears that every one of these matches is a 3-on-3 match.
Every match?
Every match that they were going to do is a 3-on-3 match, as near as I can tell.
Okay.
So let's get into it. We will open up with some heavy hitters in the form of Big Zoe, Donovan Cecil, and Brandon Davis, who is still sort of new, but he's the guy who interviews Marvel actors. He's kind of that kind of a guy, but he's been training to wrestle as well.
Okay.
And he takes on the Sin City Outlaws and Jack Vaughn.
That is a great fit.
That really is a great fit.
Yes.
The mustache really works with the Sin.
It really does.
It just came up in our podcast, which you can see at 8 o'clock on our YouTube channel over at youtube.com/@OVW Podcast.
That's right.
We talk about the Sin City Outlaws got a better name, but they feel like we need a manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jack Vaughn is good with them. So, guys, what do we think? Victor, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with Jack Vaughn's going to do something a little shady on this one and cheat somehow and take away the victory.
All right. Well, the
for
Sin
Jack
City
Bond,
Outlaws
and that will be a good win for the Sin City Outlaws.
feel like a good assessment, or you got another view of it, Brian?
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
I could very easily see that. Sin City Outlaws are becoming more dominant in the tag team division. They're a young team, but they mean business.
They do deep.
And having somebody like the veteran Jack Vaughn in their corner is as solid a choice as they could possibly make for a meetup between Big Zo, Brandon Davis, and Donovan Cecil. But I don't think you can just write it off that easy. I mean, Big Zo, come on.
Big Zo.
He's got the.
He's a doctor. He's Dr. Zo.
He's
Zo time.
Yeah, he's got that that energy. That what am I looking for? That Zo glow. How about that?
The Zo Glow.
Brandon Davis, relatively new, but if he's got Big Zo and Donovan Cecil in his corner, Donovan Cecil continues to impress week after week since his debut almost 2 years ago at the big one. Yeah. My money's on Zo Davis and Cecil.
All right. Dissenting opinions
And
among...
I'm very much looking forward to that match, by the way. I didn't realize the six-man matches all the way across.
It looks that way.
Yeah. Let's get into
Which
our...
is weird for double cross.
Yeah, it seems like you would call it triple cross.
Yeah, but
Or at
here
least
we are.
triple threat.
Well, these aren't even triple threats.
I
These are
know.
just 3-on-3s.
They are.
Let's get into the about featuring members of the Revolution in the form of Crixus, Tony Gunn, and Mount Kadeem with Doug Basham, taking on Dustin Jackson, Eric Surge, and the new OVW National Heavyweight Champion, Eric Surge, and Cal Hero. Brian, we'll start with you this time. Hang on.
Did you say Revolution?
Jerk, party of one.
You got it. Not damage.
Okay. How about I watch this?
You got to do it. They were dating dad showed us how to do it. Yeah.
I wasn't
All
paying
right.
attention.
All right.
Wait. There you go.
Got to fly the flag. Hang on.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah.
No, I'm flying a similar flag, but mine is only with one finger. So
That was exhilarating.
it was.
Let's see. Man, this is a tough call. I'm just getting a chance to look at this. This is the top of the class OVW locker room. Dustin Jackson, Eric Surge, Cal Hero.
A lot of metal there.
A lot of metal there. On the other side of the ring, you've got Crixus, a newly returned Tony Gunn, Mount Kadeem with Doug Basham, who I'm sure is not happy about winning that or about losing that championship.
That belt, yeah.
Yeah.
So who you going with?
Man, that's tough.
These head versus heart decisions.
Yeah, that's really what this boils down to: head versus heart. Heart. In my heart of hearts, I want Dustin Jackson, Eric Surge, Cal Hero. But I don't think it's going to be that easy for him. I'm going to have to begrudgingly go with Revolution this time around.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought you were more of a babyface homer.
More often than not, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Just-
on paper,
You see the writing on the wall on this one.
yeah.
don't you?
Unfortunately, I do.
I mean, like we just said, that's a lot of belt action between Dustin and Eric. They're holding two belts, and Cal Hero, with his new,
Has held several titles.
he has, and his new dark and gloom look I really like. But man, they're not going to be able to overcome the obstacles with
Yeah.
Viva La Revolution.
I feel like this
right there
match in particular is going to set the stage for some rivalries
Oh,
among
yeah.
these
And,
guys. Who knows how it'll shake out? Crixus was a former champion. Tony Gunn, former champion. Everybody in this is a former champion. So there's no telling what is going to become of this in the aftermath. But on this particular occasion, I'm going to have to go Revolution.
Yeah, same here.
All
the way.
right.
There'll be
Yeah.
some carnage there.
Feels like the Revolution needs a bit of payback after all they've been suffering.
Yeah,
let's
Yeah, it's time.
let's move on to the 3-on-3 match of folks I'd love to party with, in the form of Loud and Lawless with Luscious Lawrence taking on the Trifecta.
Trifecta. So
You go first this
I
time.
get to go first on
Yeah.
this one. So I made I'm really enjoying the Trifecta. I really like this pair up. Brandon Beretta has a chance to finally shine. This guy really is strictly business for a reason. And the other two guys help me here is
Aston Adonis.
Ashton Adonis. The other guy was
Tony
on it.
Katina.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've both been great, and these are all new guys, and they're really making their mark. Going against Loud and Lawless and Luscious Lawrence, Loud and Lawless, they took a loss last week. Usually you don't see the champions lose 2 weeks in a row. So you know what? I'm going to go with Loud and Lawless and Luscious this time.
All right.
Based on last week's episode of OVW, I was very impressed with the Trifecta.
Yeah.
Yes.
That has rolled together so quickly.
It really has.
From disorganized and actually hurting one another to
And don't get me wrong, I love the Trifecta. I think they're a great faction.
Yes, definitely. A great new formidable faction. Loud and Lawless and Luscious has a really good ring to it. Seeing those three together, it'll be interesting to see how they all gel as a
unit.
Mm-hmm. Luscious Lawrence, no stranger to
No,
the
he's-
tag team title picture.
Luscious-
Would still be a tag team champion if it wasn't for Omar Amir getting injured, thus allowing Loud and Lawless an opportunity to win the titles. I am also going to go Loud, Lawless, and Luscious.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I felt
we're
it
agreeing
coming.
on that one.
Simpatico.
All right.
Can you spell that?
No,
He
I
knows a
can't
lot
spell.
of he knows a lot of big words, but I guarantee he can't spell any of them.
I
That's
can't.
why I keep asking.
I can't spell cupcake.
He can barely spell Brian Keith Wood.
I can't spell anything. I will just spell at it and then hit the little red squiggle to try to figure it out. Let's be clear.
Well, back before we had autocorrect, I was the Brown County Spelling Bee champ of 1993.
Of course
which
you were.
Of
is
course.
completely useless now because you don't have to think about how to spell things. The
Yeah.
computer will
I'm
just
one to
finish it
talk,
for
but I was always my claim to fame. I wasn't the first kid in the class to get sat down. I was usually the fourth or fifth. So
I was usually the second. There was the kid who didn't want to do it so bad they wouldn't spell at all.
yeah,
And then
Well,
there was
yeah.
me misspelling cat.
Oh, I used to get out of school for probably about a week or two before the spelling bee, and I would be allowed to just practice spelling bee words for this.
I was in a class with not one but two geniuses, and they both would stomp everybody's ass.
Real genius?
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
Neither one of them are with us anymore, but they were both true geniuses.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear.
Anyway, I didn't mean to bring that down. It's just they were great at spelling.
Well,
So
all
what's
right.
the next match there, Tiny?
Let's move on to one of the more interesting matches of the evening, where Star Rider and Evil Z will team up with Icon Lee
Loved that pairing.
to take on Los Desafios and Super Z.
Another good pairing.
Interesting. Icon Lee, Star Rider, and Evil Z. Star Rider and Evil Z, already a unit.
Yeah.
Adding Icon Lee to it seems like a bit of an X factor because he's very much in it for himself.
I was going to
more
say,
often
he's
than
not what I would call a team player.
No, not at all. So I'm wondering whether he's going to try to assume that he is the captain of this team. If that is the case, that is not going to sit well with Star Rider, and Evil Z, I'm sure, would echo that sentiment. So it'll be interesting to see how they work together in this
So you think they'll have
situation.
problems working together as a unit?
Well, I mean,
With
Super
Icon Lee,
Super Z being the neighborhood superhero,
Yeah.
and Los Desafios already being as solid a tag team as they come. I feel like they already have an advantage rolling into this, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is a foregone conclusion. But they are going to get my vote. I'm going with Los Desafios and Super Z this time around.
All right. Victor?
Okay. See, I'm kind of torn on this one because I'm a fan of Icon Lee, unlike a lot of people. I really appreciate the kid's exuberance and willingness to get out there and do anything.
Yes.
I respect him more than I like him.
Well,
I respect the work.
I respect the hustle.
The hustle it's impossible not to respect the grind.
It's impeccable, man. He really gets after it. But I'm kind of with you on pairing him up with Star Rider and Evil Z. You know, Star Rider these days, even though he's got that laugh and everything, he's not playing.
No, not at all.
He's very serious and.
Move my mic back a little bit.
Huh?
I had to move my mic back a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I think that I'm going to agree with you on this one, Brian. I'm going to go with Los Desafinos and Super Z.
That's 3 in a row.
You guys know I like to throw in these little prop things. What was you saying? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, apparently, Los Desafinos does not have a real meaning in Spanish, according to my Spanish-speaking wife.
It's the Defiant, Los Desafios.
She said it doesn't translate properly.
Well, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I told her to go talk to Mandy about that.
No kidding. So I have a question here I'd like you guys to predict yes or no on.
Okay.
Will Icon get it to end up being attacked by Star Rider?
I would not be surprised.
Like I kind of would not be at all surprised to see they don't work well together, and Star Rider is so unpredictable these days. I would not be at all surprised.
That's why I'm picking them not to win this match, because I kind of agree with Hines on this one. They're going to kind of self-destruct a little
You're
bit.
both going to take yes on this then?
Yes, on what's your question?
Whether or not Icon will get attacked by Star Rider either before or after the match.
I'm going to say yeah, but to be fair, he'll have it coming.
I mean, yeah, he'll certainly have it coming.
And, Star Rider's on a mission, and that mission is to bring a world of pain to Super Z.
And get Rushy back.
And if
still
he
uses
gets
that.
in the way, I can definitely see him eliminating the obstacle in order to inflict more damage.
I think what's more likely is that Evil Z will do something dumb, and Icon will strike him, and then Star Rider will take him out.
I could see that.
That's kind of my thinking on that one.
All right. So you're more of a no on that then.
Correct.
All right.
Well, a long way around a no, yes.
Yes. Well, it's good to have a little dissension. Let's move on to the women's division, and we see some relatively new faces here in the form of Rachel Lee, Rachel Lay. I did, mark me down. With J-Rod and Marionette Noel taking on Carter Kaufman in the middle of baseball season, so she's got to have more power, with Freya the Slayer and Sophia Rose.
I wonder what her batting average is these days.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's above 200.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So the first time I heard Rachel Lay, right? Lay?
Yes,
L-E-Y.
L-E-Y.
I heard Ray, and I was like, what, cookware? No,
Yeah, Rachel Ray's someone different.
Rachel Lay.
Yes.
Yes. So her and J-Rod and Mary and, how you say that? Marionette? Noel? Is that how you say
Noel, yes.
Noel.
The Marionette Noel.
Marionette, okay. So who you got on that one, Brian? I'm a little torn on that. I had to think about it a little bit.
You've basically got the match that we didn't see on Rise last week in Freya the Slayer versus the Marionette Noel. You have the match we got at Appalachian Armageddon between J-Rod and Sophia Rose.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, you've got the wild cards of Rachel Lay and Carter Kaufman. You know J-Rod's out for blood. She wants that gold back. But you know Sophia Rose isn't playing, and you know Freya. I'm going to go with my head on this one and not my heart. My heart says Kaufman, Freya, and Sophia Rose, but I'm going to go with Rachel Lay, J-Rod, and the Marionette Noel.
All right. Victor, how do you feel?
So one of the problems with this match is that they're going to have a hard time keeping down the chaos between J-Rod and Sophia, because they are not buddies lately.
Not at all.
And, Tiny there gave us permission to spoil Appalachian Armageddon, which has already passed. Sophia put it to her table.
Yes, she did.
And you know that J-Rod's not going to take that lightly.
No, absolutely not.
So, it's a 3-on-3 match. If it's not you know what? I'm going to say it's a disqualification. Can I do that?
Ooh, sure.
I would not be surprised.
I think it's going to be a disqualification, basically a no contest on this one.
All right.
Interesting.
I do love
that. Is a wild card for sure.
Yeah, because I just don't see them being able to hold down the chaos between J-Rod and Sophia. That's going to be some carnage.
Tensions are still running very high between those two.
They may end up in the Ohio. I mean, they may fight all the way to the
It
river.
is entirely possible that could happen.
That
yes.
that would be hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll find another Leviathan down there somewhere. Let's move on to our final match we'll be predicting this evening, which finds us with the Only Bros, which is Prime Jackson and Boy Toy Troy, with Tony Evans, Hush, taking on Anthony Totelli, Jay De Niro, and UK alum Cash Daniel making his in-ring return.
Oh, you want me to go? Well,
We can pull the old Daniel Spencer and
sure. Let's
settle
do
with
it.
paper,
Let's
rock,
do it.
scissors.
All
Ready?
right.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Got me.
All right, you go first, Vic.
Oh, okay. So I lost. I go first then.
Yeah.
So the Only Bros and Hush, Tony Evans against how you say it? Toatelli?
Yeah, Anthony
Toatelli.
Toatelli.
Toatelli. Like Toad. And De Niro and Cash Daniel. I think this is an easy pick. They're not going to have their star child or golden boy, the man with the major guns, Cash Daniel, lose by the riverfront. So I will definitely go with that trio to beat the Only Bros and Tony Evans.
All right.
This
Brian.
is an interesting pairing. The Only Bros and Tony Evans. I did not see that coming.
Well, they got to pair him with somebody.
Well, sure, absolutely. But I could have seen a couple of single stars from OVW teaming up with Tony Evans, but that isn't the case this time. That is a very good point about Anthony Toatelli, Jay De Niro, and Cash Daniel. It's Derby weekend. I can't think of anything more Kentucky than that outside of bourbon, horses, which is falls under the Derby. There will be plenty of bourbon there as well. Yeah, so I would not be surprised if that was the case. But that Tony Evans isn't going to just lay down for this.
No, he is.
And
not.
that the Only Bros are rapidly gaining traction and becoming one of the hotter teams in OVW these days. Do you think that there will be some sort of outside interference?
That's possible, even though De Niro and Tony are in the match, so they're not going to be outside interference. So, who you got in mind that might interfere?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I have anybody specifically in mind, but I feel like
maybe a return or something.
Yeah, possibly a return. We've seen that happen time and again. We saw the return of Tony Gunn last week.
We did.
We've seen lots of people
I'm trying to
return.
think who's been
surprisingly,
out. Who's been out that could return? I can't recall. Right
being
off.
on the spot on YouTube Live is.
Yeah, that's
If I actually had time to think about this in advance, I might be able to come up with somebody I thought, oh yeah, definitely that would be.
I'd like to see Omar come back, but he's not quite ready. I don't think.
No, I would imagine so.
And I hated that too. He was on such a good run.
Yeah. But even if he did, he would be interfering possibly in the
other match,
loud, lawless, and luscious match.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just going to leave it open. I feel like this isn't cut and dry, like the Cash Daniel Tony Evans match from Appalachian Armageddon, which lasted all of about 45 seconds or so.
Closer to a minute and a half, but the point stands.
Yeah.
So you're going to decline to predict this one?
No.
Oh, so you're going to leave it open?
Here's what I say. There will be no contest because there will be a surprise interference from somebody we do not expect.
2 no contest predictions among these shows tonight.
I didn't realize that was an option until you brought it up. But since you brought it up, I am going to go with that in this case.
Well, I mean, this is wrestling we're talking about.
Card subject to change.
It's always subject to change, and there's always a swerve, and there's always an interference or something.
Yes.
Speaking of which, this event at the River Guys, once again, your Pegasus pin will get you in just 23 hours from now. Who do you think is going to double-cross who? Any predictions? Any thoughts? Who is ripe to be double-crossed?
That is a very good question, and that kind of falls under the outside interference that I just mentioned. I feel like in this case, if there is an actual double cross, and if that's the name of the event, I would imagine that there's probably at least one, maybe more.
I got one for you. In the girls' match,
Okay.
I think the interference will come from lovely Miss Larkin.
I could totally see that.
I am not
was
sure
wondering
which side
about
she's
that.
going to interfere on. I don't know if she knows yet either, but I do predict that she will interfere in that match because she
Alright.
has beef with J Rod and Freya. I think.
Yes, and has kind of a weird obsession with Sophia Rose at times.
Yeah, so I think she will make an appearance for this match.
Yeah,
Do you think that she will have found the invisible knife by then? And
Maybe.
if she has not, do you think she has an invisible arsenal with other invisible weapons?
Well, maybe somebody pulled the invisible knife out of the river, and now she'll find it. Just possible. 'Cause
I don't think she's seen it since Freya threw it into the crowd a couple weeks ago on Rise.
Well, I know, but things sometimes when wrestlers get close to rivers, things end up in the river.
That is true.
That is true.
Yeah.
So it's a wonder that nobody found it when they cleaned up after last Thursday's show.
Yeah, usually
Or
the
it would've been
trainees who
in,
do the cleaning are really thorough.
Lost and found?
Maybe that's what John Cena has stuck up his ass lately.
Oh.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Yeah,
That
there you
explains the heel turn as the
Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
invisible
Can't
knife.
see it either.
Yeah.
This invisible knife hurts. All right. So, lovely Miss Larkin will interfere and in that way double cross the ladies. Brian, do you have a prediction of something else, someone else who is ripe
Let me
to be
go
double
back
crossed?
over this list and look to see who because I that's a very good point. It is double cross.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be most likely to double cross somebody? Wouldn't it be interesting if somebody on the team of Dustin Jackson, Eric Surge, and Cal Hero double crossed them and joined the Revolution?
Maybe Cal. Because Cal's going dark and broody lately. Man.
Well,
and he had his little angle with Jamin.
but in that exchange, he asked him to embrace his power and all of these things in order to take down the Revolution.
Okay.
So you think that he would join them rather than beat them?
No, we'll see.
It's anything's possible, like you said. Card subject to change.
You
in
may be
wrestling.
right on that. Like more of a lone wolf thing is kind of suiting him right now. But
I rarely participate in the actual predicting, but Dustin Jackson seems ripe for a heel turn.
you think so?
I mean, he's been holding that the Rush champ or the media championship for a minute, and he was super, super, super over with the crowd 6 months ago. Still pretty over, but
It's not the same.
it's not quite the same, and I think he's ripe for a heel turn.
Okay.
I don't know, but that's an interesting point. We did see him a while back, and he had like a leather jacket on, and definitely didn't look like he normally does. So I mean, it's entirely possible, but I don't know. I would not be surprised if there was a double cross. We see the return of somebody. I see somebody in the chat, WWE Fan Guy 26 had said Jesse Goddard's or Joe Mack. That would be wonderful. Cash Flow, I know, is still on location. Dustin turns on Cal from Roger Dorn. That is interesting.
That's basically what I said.
Yeah,
that's a good one too because they're old school tag team partners.
that's true.
They were in the fanny pack party together.
I feel like, just going by gut, I feel like there would be a surprise return, and it's somebody people are going to cheer and they're going to be excited to see.
Jesse's
and
a good one.
that person is the double crosser.
I got one more double cross for you. I would say maybe De Niro will double cross his team and join back with Tony and put down Cash Daniel for the 1, 2, 3 for his first staring at the lights.
So you're saying that the checks would finally clear?
Yeah, he's got to support those 78 children.
Yeah. Well, obviously, but I mean, like Tony has all his financials worked out, and he's going to get a raise.
You asked me for a
what
double
you're saying.
cross. That would be.
Hey, that's entirely possible.
that would be
They
a
have
nice
a
little-
long-standing relationship.
Yeah, nice little double swerve there. And,
Yeah.
I still think that they're going to let Cash win, but that could be a good one.
That's true. But then again, on the side of the Revolution in that match, there could be potentially a lot of dissension because a lot of people have held these belts, and now the people that don't hold these belts might be upset because they want these belts back.
Well,
Could be dissension in the ranks.
Interesting you make that point because you know who didn't actually lose that heavyweight title that Malkadim has around his waist? Would be Crixus.
That's true.
Crixus did not lose that belt. He did not suffer.
He
a
had
loss.
to
He
vacate
had
the
to
title
vacate.
due to an injury.
And when it comes to wrestling world, that is a big deal. No, it's a big deal.
No, I agree.
Always been a big deal all throughout wrestling history. Is like whoever had to vacate the title, they usually come back with a vengeance and whine and complain.
From
about
what
how
we've
they
seen
did.
from Crixus,
Yeah.
he is back and he is on a mission
He
to
is.
reclaim his gold and his title as the King of Kentucky.
So we'll see if Labor Daddy can keep his stable in order. We'll see.
Well, their claim to fame for months and months was they held most all the gold.
Yeah, that's right.
And now they hold
One. Yeah, one.
They hold one championship.
That's it.
All right.
That's a good point.
You know, and you're speaking of that, maybe a good chance for AJZ to come in and do some interference.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility. So.
Yeah, anytime you're dealing with the Revolution, expect outside interference.
Yeah.
Shannon could probably be there.
Oh, Shannon should be there, I would say.
And, could distract the referee.
Maybe Leo might come back. I don't know how he's feeling, but
you just never know.
He was looking strong online yesterday. I know that.
Oh,
So,
good,
yeah.
good.
All right, Tiny, what's up?
All right. So, any other comments about the match about tomorrow's show? You guys want to? You want to predict what kind of snacks you're going to have? Because this is the beautiful thing about this is it is in the middle of a big festival.
So it is in the middle of a big festival.
Yes.
Okay. I will remember to bring cash because not cash flow or cash Daniel, actual currency because I am not leaving there without fried cheese on a stick.
Yeah, I knew that's what Heinz was going to have.
Yeah.
And cash is usually the best way to operate in those sort of environments.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I will try. I was there last year, but we'll see. But if
we all went last year.
If I do make it, the cheese on a stick sounds pretty good. You can't go wrong with a good old carnival corn dog.
That's true.
I love a good funnel cake, but they do not settle with me in my older age, so I'll eat about half of one if I do get one.
We'll split.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll work. And we'll have to see what else they have. I don't remember what they had last year.
I mean, they usually have deep fried something, Oreos,
Snickers,
pickles, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'll take the deep fried pickles. I'm fine.
You can have all those.
Those ones I got that were aged in bourbon barrels were so good. Too bad you don't like pickles, but that also worked out great for me.
It's usually not recommended to swallow vinegar, but have more of it.
That's fine.
DJ Eric just came in the chat room. Hey to DJ Eric.
Good evening, DJ Eric.
All right. So you guys want to take a break, and we'll come back and talk and look over these comments and see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll be back after a short break. I'm Brian Hines.
And I'm Victor.
And you are watching OVW Fan Zone, where fans talk back.
Friday, April 25th, OVW returns to Pikeville and the Appalachian Wireless Arena for Appalachian Armageddon as part of Hillbilly Days. Tickets available now at OVWTix.com.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
I honestly don't know.
Hey, my name's
what just
Mark.
happened.
I'm in the OVW Fan Zone.
Dream a reality and attend the world-famous Harvard of Pro Wrestling. The OVW Academy with Al Snow, the birthplace of legends including Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, and many more. Will you be the next name added to that impressive list? Visit OVWacademy.com and apply now.
Welcome back to the OVW Fan Zone, where fans talk back. I'm Victor, and this is
Brian Hines.
All right, gentlemen, let's get into what the chat room has been talking about tonight. I'm going to skip the line with this one. WWE Fan Guy 26 just made this point. Very important for the
Fans in attendance.
For the Derby Festival. Under 18, you must be accompanied by someone 21 and older.
okay.
And that one person, 21 and older, I think can take up to 6 minors with them. But they're going to check your ID, and you have to stay there with them. You can't just drop your kids off to run wild at the fair. Apparently, there was some issues last week.
What kind of fun is that? I used to love running around wild at Hillbilly Days.
It's just through the door. I'm pretty sure you can still run around once you're inside.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but for the sake of trying to keep it down to a dull roar, those are the stipulations. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right. So going back a little earlier in the chat, Matthew Berry asked, "Are y'all going to the Run for the Ropes tomorrow?" Well, it's actually Double Cross tomorrow. I think we're going to go, Brian. I think Jackman is rolling back in here in the middle of the night, intending to go.
Good.
So we're going to go. We're going to try to get Victor to go. You should bring the kids and come.
On a school night, come on.
Oh, school's almost over. Come on.
Come on, man.
It's a Friday.
Yeah, I know. But if it was a Friday night, we would definitely be there. But it's on a Thursday night. We'll see.
All right. Let's get into Roy Bischoff. Always good to see Roy in the chat.
What's up, Roy?
He has a question about the trifecta, whether or not you think that they will replace the Revolution as the new heel bad guys. What do you guys think?
I think there's enough room for
I definitely
couple
think that
heel
there's
factions.
enough room for some heel factions. I feel like this is a very much needed element to OVW. All 3 of these guys, they're basically like the perfect storm.
As much as I'm a Lever Daddy Doug fan, I'd like to see Brandon Beretta just come up and knock the taste out of his mouth.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a strong
Did
statement.
not see that coming.
Just for the theater, I like to see some conflict, and they're the new heel faction on the block. And what do when you're trying to be the new dog?
That's true.
You go up and slap the biggest dog in the face.
Yeah.
So, we talk every year. We know that the big summer thing for the big one, or maybe it's Saturday Night Special, is going to be our big one this year. There's always a faction versus faction match. Usually, like last year, it was OVW versus the Revolution.
Sure.
Then it was OVW. The previous year was OVW versus the faction, back when people didn't have creative names for things.
It wasn't the faction; it was the Overmen.
Was it? Because it was the faction. I think the faction lost that 5-on-5 match, and that's when they became the Overmen.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that we all went to.
Yeah,
that's right.
The death of the faction, yeah.
So do we think, because we're seeing some kind of factions pop up, I'd like to see maybe a multiple faction, like maybe 3 factions all kind of vying. Do you think that might be possible? Is that too much?
I want another girl faction.
I want a couple of girl factions to
That's what
fight.
I want a girl faction because I really missed the Bad Girls Club.
Lovely Miss Larkin is her own faction.
It's true.
I mean, there's like 5 people in her faction, and they're all her.
Yeah.
Much as we love. All right. Let's see what else we got going on. So, I love the trifecta. I think we can have multiple. They're different kinds of heels, wouldn't you say? Like, they're kind of, they remind me a little bit of when Beaches and Cream are heels. That kind of, we'll party, but then we're going to beat you up kind of thing with the trifecta.
I can see that, yeah.
Because they seem like they enjoy a good time, those boys in the trifecta.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
All right. Let's move on to a comment by Roger Dorn, who actually mentions, let's talk about the youth movement in OVW. Mm-hmm. Out with the old and in with the new young studs and studettes.
That's one of the things I love about OVW is the new upcoming talent because they got a lot right now. We were just talking about them with the trifecta.
I was thinking about that on my drive back from Pikeville. The amount of talent in OVW right now, whether it's the OVW locker room, the Revolution, now the trifecta, it's an embarrassment of riches, really.
They can't even get them all on 2-hour programs.
No, they can't. That's another reason. That's something else I was thinking about on the way here. Is it's another reason to tune in because there are so many top quality talents out there right now working with OVW. You don't know who you're going to see any given week, even if it's announced in advance. Card is always subject to change. So you just never know.
We were talking about AJZ and Leo Fox earlier. Those are two legitimate badasses.
Yeah.
And they haven't been on there much lately. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's anybody. That's the thing about OVW. That's where you can step up and make a name for yourself.
And they the trifecta certainly have
They
over the
sure
last
have, yeah.
couple of weeks.
And you know, there's two different kinds of young talent. There is the academy graduate talent, but now we're also seeing them start to cast a net for this other talent, some more regional talent. I think that's where we get Toatelli from, where we get Katina from. You know, these guys are established guys in indie wrestling, kind of coming into here and giving new, not just, you know, here's the people who come fresh out of the academy who are awesome in their own right.
Yes.
But I love that we're seeing people who are already established and trained in other ways, because you want to see a diversity of kind of fighting styles and movement, and you want a variety in these sort of shows, don't you? You don't want just everybody kind of doing the moves the same way.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And that's kind of where we are right now in terms of being an OVW fan. It could be anybody. Like if somebody gets hurt, they have dozens of people that they could drop into that slot for a match or completely shake things up. And we've seen it happen time and again. And it's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, we even the painter guy. I don't know.
Jake Painter.
Oh, it's Jake Painter.
Yeah.
The painter guy's named Painter.
Yeah, so I mean, you got him. You know, there's a lot of, and the female talent's looking good too. I like, of course, we keep talking about Lovely Miss Larkin. I'm a big fan of Leela Feist.
Yeah.
I miss Maddie, the American baddie.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
I want her to bring her weird captain's hat back.
I missed the little spicy quesadilla. Where'd she go?
Yeah, that's very
Hell
true.
of a risk.
Yeah.
man,
We haven't seen
like
her in a while.
I like her a lot, but no, I mean it's just awesome. You know, even some of the mainstays in there. You know, like Star Rider, Los Desafinos, Big Zoe. You know, without those guys, Losis Lawrence. Without those guys, you wouldn't have somebody for the new guys to work with to help grow. The
That's a
talent.
good point. Yes.
So Blast Braden Fields HD, who's one of our new guys this week. We haven't
Welcome. Thank you very
seen. He
much
was
for
talking
watching.
about the match with. So he says he was in attendance at a recent live show, and Sophia. He called out to Sophia, and she answered. You gotta love how in touch with the fans Sophia is.
Yeah, she's great.
We're so glad to see you. We're so glad to see you, Braden.
The interaction is unparalleled.
Yeah.
Then Roy Bischoff comments that Victor's a better dancer than Jackman.
Well, that's not saying a lot.
I mean, we are talking about Jerkman Ox here. I don't have much of a measuring stick there.
All right.
But I appreciate the comment, though.
Becky Katie comes in talking about Los Desafios.
Oh, hey, Becky.
She says that Maximo came up with the name and thinks it might be some sort of Puerto Rican slang.
That makes sense.
So,
that's why
your wife is deep South American. So
she
there's
is, and they speak more of a classic Spanish there. So
like Castilian.
Huh?
Castilian Spanish.
Okay, whatever you call it. But yeah, she will miss out on some of the Mexican slang. Apparently, supposedly, like underlay is not really a word.
No, I think they made that up for Speedy
But
Gonzalez.
that's but they use that. The Mexicans use that word, and it means to hurry up. But the actual word is rapido.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Then WWE Fan Guy 26 has a theory.
Okay.
He says that his guess for the reason why there's all these 6-person tags is because the Derby is the first leg of the Triple Crown.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
That's a
but
solid
yes,
theory.
That is a very good point.
That makes a lot of sense, and I can see that being reasoned out in Al's head too.
Yeah, that seems like something Al would come to.
Yeah.
Then the WWE Fan Guy 26 also postulated on a Jesse Goddard's or a Joe Mack or a Cash Flow. Cash Flow we know is pretty busy in Atlanta right now.
Is.
Yes.
I'm with him on Joe Mack, but I think he got kicked out of the country and had to go back to Canada or something.
I'm not entirely sure what the deal is. I know he didn't want to go. He was able to come back for that one event and left immediately. I saw him get straight into the car and leave as soon as he ran in that match. And that was it. We haven't seen or heard from him.
Yeah, we miss
since.
you, Joe Mack.
Yes, you're a baby. We still miss you, though.
Gracie's got the pacifier waiting on you. So.
You're our baby, Joe Mack.
Yeah.
You're a baby, but you're our baby.
Yeah.
Roger Dorn reminds us that Cal still has unfinished business with Mount Kadeem.
That is true.
Does.
So maybe that, in the same way you were like, maybe J-Rod and Sophia can't hold it together, maybe Cal and Kadeem will come apart. That match will come apart because they can't kind of keep their hands off each
He
other.
did get the pin on Mount Kadeem at Appalachian Armageddon.
That's
So,
true.
and I'm sure that Kadeem's not too happy with that outcome, so might need to hold him back.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just saying. And
Good luck.
Good luck holding that man back.
Yeah.
Because he's called him out for a reason. That is one big individual.
And finally, Stinky Tuna tells us, Dad, we're at, then he names a local restaurant.
Sure, what is it?
Picafino's, Pichichinos, starts with a P.
It's Perico's.
Perico's, yeah. So, yeah.
I will take a steak quesadilla, please.
All right. Thank you, chat room, for coming in with your talking back to us with your questions and comments and everything. And I hope Stinky Tuna gets the order. Guys, let's move into let's do the calendar, shall we?
Oh, we go back to the calendar?
Yeah, we're almost done here. We're running out of time.
Oh, this is where Brian wraps it up.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So tomorrow, in Louisville, Kentucky, on the Great Lawn at by the Ohio River in Louisville, Kentucky, as part of the Kentucky Derby Festival, is OVW Double Cross. That will start a few minutes after 6 o'clock tomorrow on the Riverside. Your Pegasus pin will get you in.
Could we explain to people how to get a Pegasus pin? Because it wasn't explained last year, and you just knew what to do. So maybe we should let people know.
Do they sell them at Kroger, Malika?
I believe so.
Yeah, you can get them at local Krogers. You can get them at a lot of convenience stores. They're going to have a little sign up that says Pegasus pin available here.
And it's about
Yeah,
yay
it's
high.
literally
It's really
Yeah,
tiny.
it's a tiny. It's literally like a lapel pin.
If I remember right, I think Thornton's has them,
Okay.
which is important.
Yeah,
to know
But
because
we know that you
they're-
can get those at Kroger and several convenience stores around.
So yes, that's
Keep
tomorrow.
your eyes peeled.
Yes. Next, and I think the next thing we do is Tuesday night, right here in this OVW feed at 7/6 Central. You can find the show that always kicks out at 2. That is OVW Overdrive with Brian Kennison and Steven Johnson, with all the action from the pre-show, presumably at Double Cross this week. We'll see exactly what they have. Sometimes they have some matches from some other house shows and some other fun. You never know what nonsense they'll get up to. Then 6 days, 23 hours from this moment right now, we will be setting up to bring you OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. Join us then. The podcast is, right now.
Yeah.
Get on it. I guess that's why you've been staring at me so hard, Brian. Is
Right?
Boost the podcast. In just 3 minutes on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@OVW podcast. You can hear the latest episode of the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. There you can hear Brian and Victor guest hosting, review last week's Rise. What a great show that was. You're going to want to hear everything they have to say about that. But in 6 days, 23 hours, we will be right back here, as I was saying, with OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. Brian, take us out.
On behalf of the entire OVW podcast team, I'm Brian Hines.
And I am Victor Anderson. And next week you will have Jackman Oaks back here.
We most certainly will. We miss you, Jackman. P.S. Woodard, Tiny Brian Woodard, thank you all very much for joining us this evening.